Good day. Welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob, and I want to welcome you. Thanks for joining me today. In our most recent post, we set about to openly and honestly, vulnerably acknowledge anything in our lives which keeps us imprisoned. We've been talking about addiction as enslavement, and that's what we're talking about, anything that keeps us enslaved or imprisoned. Think about it for a second. If our birthright is to live out our fullest potential in this very short time span that we've been given on this planet, our lives are so short, then anything that gets in the way of that, of our living out our full potential, anything that gets in the way of that really represents our jailer. We're imprisoned by this figure, by this influence in our lives. And what we all want is to get out of jail and be free. Furthermore, we cannot be free of what we do not see. I'm going to repeat that. We cannot be free of what we do not see. I think the 12-step programs, as just one example, have really gotten this right. I think all of therapy does this well too, the best of therapy for sure. But in the 12-step programs of addiction recovery, there's a focus on removing denial, all forms of self-deception when it comes to admitting to ourselves and to and eventually others those substances, those behaviors, those attitudes that enslave us. That's part of the wisdom of the 12-step programs, and any addiction recovery approach that's worth its salt will have skillful means for hosting our being transparent and vulnerable and honest and humble about the ways that we get in our own way. Naming our addictions is halfway to our being free again. It's not the whole enchilada, but it's half of it. We've got to be able to name it in order to deal with it. Now, the next step after we've identified those things in our lives which do keep us trapped and small, the next step is to build skills that will help us stay free. I think of it this way. None of us escape stress. To be human is to encounter stress every day. But we can also learn to become resilient, where we bounce up and bounce back from stressors. We don't have to stay down in the dirt. We can get back up, dust ourselves off, and move on. And with this resilience, there is freedom. With resilience, we can at last live true to ourselves, true to our birthrights, true to why we are here in the first place. So for today, I'd like to ask you to list 3 behaviors, attitudes, or other coping skills. Behaviors, attitudes, or any other coping skill that you can think of, which help you to be resilient in the face of your stressors in your life. How do you cope constructively and creatively? How do you cope positively when facing challenging, or what we've been calling here, we'll be going into great depth in the next many posts here, when you're facing a high-risk situation, what helps you to move through that, to cope with that? Let's start with what you already know and do that works. I think of it as what you know by heart. Let's start with that, okay? 3 resources that you already employ or have employed in the past that you found helpful when facing high-risk stressors. Let's see what you come up with, and then we're going to forge forward in our next several posts about how we can integrate these and expand on these. I want to thank you again for joining me. Good luck with the exercise. Let's see what you come up with. Bring it back to our next post here. In between now and then, please stay safe and be well. Take good care. Thank you.